Good evening and welcome to my recap and trade plan for Apple. It's been a while since I did one of these videos. Real quick, the earnings play I was in these 220 calls here. I actually did close them out prior to earnings. I was very profitable on those, so it just made no sense. It was just getting to be greedy if I held them any longer. So those are the prices I got fills on. I actually added on the 235 calls here at 206, which they actually ended up going up about 50% on the end of the day. Did not close uh, like a retard. And end of the day, I also added into February 250 calls. I was feeling very good that Apple was going to beat. They were going to continue higher. Buffett was going to buy some more shares, blah, blah, blah. Well, we all know how that turned out. They're going to be a little bit more discreet about what they release in their earnings. And we're going to have to guess as far as how many units they sell of certain things. So anyways, on the gap down the next day, I did have to go ahead and average into these. I got a couple of fills in here, and on the, I believe it was a 2 minute, maybe the 5 minute chart, got my average down by buying a ton of these calls, and got out for a semi-small loss here. Got my average of 65, got out around about 47 cents. So ended up having to eat a loss there on that gap down. I'm still holding the 250 calls. Middle of the day, I did take a play in some puts, these same day expirations, 205s here at 63 and at 63 out of 73. And just a quick little scalp. A few days later, I added into my 250 calls here at 120, got my average down to 240. I'm looking to average into that again, especially with this pattern that is setting up here around the 200 SMA. A couple levels I will be looking for. Basically, if it breaks above this 195 area, I will add in. I'm going to have a buy stop order in these calls just above 195, 15-ish area. If that fails to trigger, I will actually add into this 185 call about 4 weeks in the future at the prior low. I'm also looking to take these 195 calls about 4 weeks in the future. Most likely I'll look for February though, just for a little bit more time to help recoup some of the loss of this 250 calls. If this does play out and it starts to rally a little bit higher, these 250 calls will turn profitable. 195s will be an excellent play, and I'll make back way more than what I lost on those 235 calls and the pullback so far on these 250s. So all these green levels is where volume came in. Still have the quad witching volume way up here at 220. Volume started coming in at these levels as well, and the new ones that have been put in down here. So this could be potential distribution in Apple for, basically a top, at least to confirm a top is in. However, Buffett, Mr. Moneybags, has continued to buy Apple. His new 13F came out. He increased his stake again. Apple is a cash machine. I'm going to stay bullish on it for now, especially since I'm stuck in some of these calls, and I don't want to eat the loss at the moment. If 185 breaks, I'll probably have to, which is really going to suck and it'll probably hurt quite a bit. But cross that bridge when we come to it. Over here onto the daily time frame pattern that is setting up here is a tightening wedge. Volatility is starting to compress here. Inside day on Thursday, break higher on Friday. Tried to reclaim the 200 SMA. Did quite close above it, but it did actually pierce above this downtrending line a little bit. Ultimate test is going to be this 8 EMA right here at 196.50-ish area. There's going to be algos that are probably trying to sell at that level to try and capitalize on this overall downtrend. It is a very strong downtrend so far. Every single pop on the days have been sold, at least from what I've seen at a glance. Haven't been able to watch intraday price action very much, so I'm at the mercy of the markets right now. What I do see is that is testing this prior earnings gap here from July. I don't think Apple's going to be making any less money than they did back here. They're just simply going to be reporting a little bit less information as far as their number of units sold. So as long as their revenues, their sales, their profits all stay higher, there's no reason for it to continue to sell off. If their profits and revenues and sales actually go up, well, everybody that sold up here is going to look like a fool and wish they still held their position. So anyways, still in it, still holding shares, holding calls. Looking for Apple to continue higher. Actually, we'll zoom out here again on the higher time frame, just to touch on the monthly chart over here because it is very, very ugly. We had almost an inside day. Looked like a momentum hammer that actually failed to break out and follow through here from September, but an outside month on October. Still a very green year for 2018 so far. And as long as it stays above, what's this level, 170, The open's 170.16. The month is still going to stay green. A lot of tech names are still showing green, still staying relatively strong. If you watch my S&P video first, you can see there's a lot of sectors still holding up. It's just the media is blowing this sell-off way out of proportion. Um, we're 10, maybe 10 to 15% off highs in some names, which is fairly normal when something makes an all-time high. Of course, I didn't want to see it happen that way. I'm a perma bull. I want things to continue to go up, but I understand at the same time market dynamics, and they're going to have to sell off to essentially reset every now and then. So anyways, with all that said, going forward, I'm still going to stay bullish on Apple, especially because I'm stuck in these positions. If I was able to intraday trade and actively manage some positions, I would actually be looking at taking some puts to at least capitalize on some of the selling pressure, because bears are still, at least have been in control for the past couple of weeks. However, looking at the volume that's come in, where it's come in, the price action pattern that's setting up, it looks like that's about to come to an end. So if price action is able to break above and close above this little line right here, I'm going to say that downtrend is over. It's probably going to chop, may go sideways from 195 to 185, which will give a very nice trading range to go ahead and play against. So anyways, those are my thoughts, my trade plan, and what I'm looking at for Apple going forward into the next couple of months. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Have a good evening and good luck tomorrow in the open.